Good morning. Happy Sunday. Over and over again, I've told the auditing community that what they are doing is not going to change anything because they are not getting the public on board and they're not prosecuting lawsuits. And those are really the only two ways that any change is ever going to be made on any of the things that these auditors are wanting to accomplish. One of my commenters, who I'm not trying to be a jerk to, noted that, or believes that Granite got filming allowed in the police station that she subsequently went back to and was arrested and got the forehead smashing in. Did Granite State get filming allowed? Maybe. I mean, she may have discussed it with the police chief. He may have changed his mind about allowing filming, because that's all it takes, is for generally speaking, for the police chief to say, hey, you know what? We're going to go ahead and allow filming. But guess what, kids? It's just as easy for the police chief to then change his mind and say, you know what? We're not going to allow filming. If you make a quick, easy fix, it is quickly and easily unfixed. And I'm not actually saying that allowing filming in that police station was a fix, because you could see what happened just as soon as filming was allowed. It was allowed to escalate to the point where Granite and Josh got arrested, and there's apparently witness intimidation charges relating to the domestic violence victim that had gone into the police station to make a complaint. And I think I actually remember using domestic violence victims as people who might not want to be filmed going into police stations. Oh, they're in public. Fuck you. Anyway, so easy fixes turn into easy unfixes. And when an officer decides not to enforce a law, that doesn't mean that law is no longer being enforced elsewhere. And that doesn't mean the officer couldn't simply decide to enforce it at a later date, or if you start being an asshole, he may decide to enforce it, etc. And it certainly doesn't say anything about any of the other officers on the force, whether or not they are going to enforce it. There's a sovereign citizen who is prosecuting a lawsuit against, I think it was a county, for trespassing him from the DMV/tax assessor's office for filming, for causing a disturbance. And he believes that it's okay to film in post offices. And it may be. Again, it may be. Nobody has yet challenged the constitutionality of the prohibition against filming. And yes, it still is a prohibition against filming. You knuckle draggers can't fucking read to save your lives. But he says he has a postal inspector who he hands the cards of this postal inspector to people at post offices and tells them to call him. Call the postal inspector. Postal inspector will tell you that I can film here. Last I checked, postal inspectors were essentially like the police. Specifically the police for the post office. Don't throw up. Their interpretation of the law is only relevant to them and how they enforce the law, to that specific person. So that specific postal inspector has discretion on whether or not he's going to enforce the law. And he also gets to interpret it when he is enforcing it. Now, he better hope he guesses right if he decides to enforce it, because a court is later going to interpret it, and he may end up in some liability if he interpreted it wrong. But my point is, there have been yet no fixes. Last but not least, I do want to point out that a judicial officer interpreting one court's rules, one court's court order regarding filming in the courthouse, first of all, it just really reiterated exactly what the previous order said, except for making it not apply somehow to civil servants, to city employees. Another judge in another court who has a court order preventing filming has a different court order. And you have to actually, if you want to get filming in that particular courthouse, I'm talking about the Tucson Municipal, it has a Superior Court and a City Court both in the same building. It's like a judicial supercenter. If you want there to be filming there, what you were actually looking for was to file a lawsuit for injunctive relief. You needed a higher court to tell the lower court that their order was either unconstitutional or it didn't comply with the Arizona Rules of Court or some other statute. So that's what you were looking for. You weren't looking for clarification of one court's order when it was another court's order that was really going to bite you in the ass. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a great day.